Hi everyone, and welcome to our screencast on human organization. Today we're going to be talking all about how our bodies are organized and how we are also classified. We are in phylum Chordata because we all have a spinal cord. We are in subphylum Vertebrata because we have a vertebrae protecting our spinal cord. We're in class Mammalia because we have all of the characteristics of mammals like fur and mammary glands. We are in order Primata because we are primates, and in family Hominidae because we are hominids. We are bipedal, we walk on two legs, and of course genus Homo and species Sapiens, which is different than some of the other hominids from the past like Homo neanderthalensis or Homo heidelbergensis. So we're vertebrates because we have a bony endoskeleton, and what that means is we have a skeleton inside our bodies, which is different from an exoskeleton like an insect would have. Our vertebral column helps to support us, hold us up against gravity, and it also, of course, protects our spinal cord. And our brain is also protected by a bone, and we know that is the skull. We also have a true body cavity, and that's called a coelom, which you might remember if you took Biology 11. And in the human body, the coelom is divided into two regions, and it's separated by the diaphragm. So if you look over here, there's an upper cavity, here's your diaphragm, and a lower cavity below the diaphragm. Those two cavities are called the abdominal cavity, which is beneath the diaphragm, and the thoracic cavity, which is above the diaphragm. Whenever you see the word thoracic, you should be thinking chest and lungs. So the thoracic cavity has the heart, the lungs, and the upper digestive tract like your esophagus. And the abdominal cavity has all of the other organs, and we call those visceral organs, so your liver and your kidneys. We are also mammals, and mammals are all homeotherms, and what that means is we can regulate our internal body temperature. We're warm-blooded. Now this costs a lot of energy, and so we have to make sure that it's really efficient so we're not wasting energy, keeping ourselves warm or cooling ourselves down when we don't need to. And so, of course, our bodies use homeostasis to do this. So we want to try to keep our internal body temperature around 37 degrees, and it will waver around that set point, a little bit higher, a little bit lower, a little bit higher, as your body attempts to maintain 37 degrees. And the part of your brain that helps you do that is the hypothalamus. So the hypothalamus is involved in maintaining homeostasis in our bodies, and one of the things that we want to maintain at a certain level is body temperature. So we can go a little bit higher, and then we'll start to sweat, and if we go a little bit lower, we'll start to shiver, but ultimately the brain will initiate responses that will help us to maintain that 37 degrees set point, and it does that through negative feedback, which we learned on some of the last screencasts. It's just like a thermostat in your house. We also have skin, so mammals have skin that are covered with hair or covered with fur, and in humans, obviously, that's hair. And that hair and skin help to insulate us, they help to protect us, and of course they give us sensations. We also have well-developed brains that are about 7 times the size as you would expect to find with our body size. And we have internal fertilization, and offspring also develops inside our bodies, and it does that because we have a placenta. So there's a very long gestation period. For humans, that's 9 months, of course. Because we're mammals, we also have mammary glands, and this is how we feed milk to our young. It also allows us to have a really long period after the baby is born where we have to take care of the child. That's postnatal period. So let's talk about the levels of organization. You have cells. Let's talk about stomach cells in this situation. And those cells come together in a group, and that group of cells that all work towards one type of job are tissues. So let's say we've got stomach tissues. And when you have a bunch of stomach tissue together, working together, that makes up an organ. So the stomach is an organ made of stomach tissue. And if you put a whole bunch of organs together that work for one common purpose, then you have an organ system. So the stomach, along with the liver and the colon, that makes the digestive system. And of course, if you put a whole bunch of systems together, then you've got an organism. So a body system is parts that work together. And in our bodies, the systems do work individually, but they're also very much connected to each other, and they communicate with each other and help each other get their jobs done. So every body system is made up of organs, for example, the heart. Every organ is made up of tissue, i.e. cardiac tissue, and every tissue is made up of a certain type of body cell that has certain genes turned on to allow that cell to do its job. So heart cells make up cardiac tissue make up the heart, and the heart, in conjunction with all of the other organs in the circulatory system, make up the circulatory system. So what systems will we be studying this year? Well, we'll be studying the digestive system. That will be our first unit. We'll learn all about how we eat and digest our food. We'll be talking about the circulatory system and the heart and the blood and the arteries and veins in your body. And along with that system, we'll be talking about the immune system, how we protect our bodies from disease. And then we'll move on to the respiratory system, talking about our lungs and how we breathe and how oxygen gets delivered to our bodies. And then the nervous system, we'll be talking about the brain and all the nerves and how they communicate with our bodies, tell us what to do. We'll be talking about the excretory system and how we create urine. And then, of course, my favorite, we'll be talking about the male and the female reproductive system. Along with all of those, we'll be talking about hormones, and that's called the endocrine system. And we'll be talking about hormones within all of the other systems. We've already talked about the thyroid gland and the pituitary gland. We won't be talking about the integumentary system, the skin. We won't be talking about bones and the skeletal system. We won't be talking about the muscular system. That's it. Make sure you come to class with your hot questions about how our bodies are organized.